All right, what is going on, guys? Here for the NBA live stream. We got some. Did we just get Luka Doncic news? Doubtful. Okay, that I was gonna say we're waiting on some big news, but yeah, that is now the big news of the slate. Luka Doncic doubtful. So I was gonna say this is tricky if we don't get that news now. Now that we do have it, that changes everything, right? Because now the Mavs are pretty short-handed. Exactly. The whole slate has changed. So now there's a ton of value on Dallas. That game should stay competitive too with no Luka. So there's a lot to obviously talk about. This is going to be a quick one though, only about 30 minutes. I'm sorry, but a little bit busy with NFL obviously today as well. So I'll try to go fast, do my best to break everything down, and try to get to some questions at the end. So yeah, that's the big news. Luka out. I think Dallas is a team you're going to want some exposure to for value. Kuzma is starting for KCP, but I think LeBron plays too. I think we got that news, or maybe we haven't got that yet. But, playing alongside LeBron and AD, I think Kuzma is just a fine play, not a priority for me. Grayson Allen is available to play, so that hurts the other Memphis value. And guys like Bane and Conchar make some risk here, but I'm not convinced that game stays close, especially with no Ja Morant. And let's see. A lot of this stuff was for earlier. Again, KCP out, Kuzma starting for him. I think Kuzma is fine, but again, not a priority for me. All right, so let's talk about first. Let's go Washington Brooklyn. I'm going to move fast here, guys. So I apologize if this is pretty quick. But Washington Brooklyn, this is a game that looks really, really good to target. There is some blowout risk, right? If we're looking at it, it's a 242 over under, but a 7.5 point spread. So a little bit of risk here. Really like Westbrook at the top just because he's at a triple-double every single game. Fantastic matchup. Minutes are high in him. So Westbrook, I think, is one of the safer spend-ups of the day. Don't mind Beal either as a pivot. Westbrook, I think, will be decently popular if you want to pivot to Beal and GPP. So I think that's perfectly fine. I think Thomas Bryant looks like a nice play in the mid-range. Should play over 30 minutes in an up-tempo game. He's a guy that does have some upside. Don't think he's going to be super popular, but I think he's a safe play. The value in Washington is stay away from me when everyone's healthy. So that's it for Washington. Let's move on to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, KD, Kyrie. Pretty simple, right? It's those two at the top, and that's it for me. And I really like both. If the game stays competitive, both should play 35-plus minutes. KD has a ton of matchup in this fantastic, or a ton of upside in this fantastic matchup. Same thing with Kyrie. So really, really do like the both studs there for Brooklyn. The secondary plays are just not for me. LeVert not playing enough minutes. Joe Harris seems priced about right. Again, kind of score independent too. I think he's a fine play, not a priority. Allen, Jordan splitting the center minutes. I'll stay away from that. TLC starting, but very, very low usage guy playing with all these starters. You can punt with him, but very scoring independent. And the bench guys, don't think we have to do it with the Dallas value opening up. So pretty simple. It's the studs in this game, and that's it. Lakers, Memphis. So we still don't have the news on LeBron yet. I assume he's going to play. He's been questionable in back-to-back games. With LeBron and AD most likely playing, yes, Kuzma is starting for KCP. Should play a few more minutes, but not a priority for me. It is a good matchup, but he would be someone I would look to more if LeBron was out. Looking like LeBron is going to be in. Again, we don't have that confirmation yet, but I think Kuzma's a fine play. Again, should play more minutes here. So, yeah, I think he's solid. Harrell's a stay away from me at that price. Schroeder, again, kind of a stay away if LeBron is in, and I assume LeBron James will be in. He's been questionable last couple of games, but, I assume he's in. Now, what you have to worry about here is if LeBron is in fact in, there's a good chance this game does not stay competitive. Memphis has gotten blown out last couple of games. There's no Ja Morant, so there's a really good chance this game does not stay close. It's a pretty big risk, and there's been a ton of blowouts on NBA recently, so that's the risk with the Lakers. Now, one sneaky guy I do want to mention here with KCP out, those minutes, he was playing mid-20s minutes, so those minutes probably a decent amount go to Kyle Kuzma, but I think, now an interesting punt is a guy like THT, right? Because how many minutes does he get? I think the minutes go up by how much is the question. So maybe he gets like 20 minutes, but you have to ask yourself, is that a necessity now with the Dallas value opening up, right? So that's it for the Lakers for me. On the Memphis side, not a ton I like in a tough matchup. JV, Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks. Like if they're going to stay competitive, if you're going to target someone in the Lakers like LeBron or AD, it makes sense to run it back with one of these guys, but just not a good spot, and there's some severe blowout risk here. So they're more contrarian GPP plays with those three guys at the top. With Grayson Allen playing, it hurts Conchar, it hurts Desmond Bane. I still think these guys are viable if you're playing for the blowout. I just think the minutes won't be as high in these guys. I think like mid-20s for Bane and probably like 20-ish for Conchar, maybe a little more if the game does blow out. So those are really the only guys I'm looking to. Grayson Allen himself, I would probably rather take the shot in those bench guys and hope for the blowout, to be honest. So that's it for Memphis, the Lakers. Denver and Minnesota, like Jokic and Murray at the top in GPPs, but it's a fantastic matchup. It's just, again, a huge blowout risk in this one, right? This one is sitting at an An 8.5-point spread, I mean, I think it should be higher. Minnesota has gotten just crushed against some bad teams. This Denver team is pretty solid. So Jokic or Murray, I love in GPPs. It's just a matter of, do you think this game stays competitive? Now, if I do play either Jokic or Murray, I think I would run it back with either D'Lo or Beasley on the opposite side, because if Minnesota's going to stay in this game, it's going to be because of those two guys, no Karl-Anthony Towns. But again, this is a game in cash I would probably stay away from because of the blowout risk. Will Barton at 5'4" with no MPJ should play mid-30s minutes. I think he's a decent play. Again, good spot here. He did terribly that last game, but minutes should be there for him. Don't hate punting with Gary Harris because of the minutes, but again, he is very, very reliant on the scoring. And that's it for me on Denver. On the Minnesota side, and I think 8.5 is too low just off what we saw. But like after I was really high in the game stack last game with Washington, Minnesota, you just know D'Angelo Russell's going to have a big game. Like I just can already see it coming after the chalk bust letting me down. He's going to go for like 50 plus in this matchup and keep it competitive. Then Jokic and Jamal Murray are going to smash. So that's what I said. If you think this game stays close, if you're playing Jokic or Murray, I would run it back with either D'Lo or Beasley. These are the two guys who have to step it up in if they're going to keep it close. Shot attempts are there for them. It's just a matter of can they hit their shots. So those two, like for GPPs, but again, not for cash games. Naz Reid, I'm not going there against Jokic. He already struggles with foul trouble concerns. Now he has to go up against Nikola Jokic. I'll pass. The value, you can take a shot on Rubio here. Again, if you think this game stays competitive, looks a little bit more viable. But that's really it for Minnesota, Denver. Let's move on to Utah and San Antonio. So Gobert, I think, is a little bit underpriced. I think he's a nice cash game play. Last game, he got in some foul trouble. Should play mid-30s minutes. I think he's, again, perfect cash game play. Should play 35 minutes in a close game. Like the matchup for him. So I think he's a solid play in both formats. Again, more of a cashy play, though. Donovan Mitchell is a little bit underpriced, but been struggling recently. Mike Conley has been really playing well. I don't think that continues. When they're priced about the same, I'm just going to go that. I'm going to give the edge to Mitchell. So, but either way, I don't think he's a priority here. I think he's a little underpriced, but again, not a smash play. Mike Conley, again, I know he's had 50 in 2 of the last 3 games, but I just don't think he continues that level of production. Bojan strictly are very reliant in the scoring. Clarkson not playing a ton of minutes. Royce O'Neal looks like he's probable. The minutes will be there for him, so I think he's more of a cash play. Pretty low floor, though, so not a GPP play, really. But if you need some salary relief for cash, I don't think it's the worst idea. But then, again, you have to ask yourself, is it necessary with Luka Doncic now out? So let's move on to the Spurs. Spurs with no Derek White, I feel a little bit more comfortable with some of these other value plays. I think we're still waiting on the LaMarcus Aldridge news, unless we got it just now. But let's see. Yeah, we haven't got the LaMarcus Aldridge news yet. If he is out, DeMar DeRozan, even in a not necessarily the best matchup, I'm pretty comfortable with his minutes, mid-30s minutes. He's been stuffing the stat sheet. So, yeah, I think DeMar DeRozan is in play either way. DeJounte Murray with no Derek White should play about 30 to 35 minutes. I think, again, interesting GPP play, but not a priority for me. I think the value plays are a little bit interesting with no Derek White, like Rudy Gay, Lonnie Walker, even a guy maybe like Patty Mills. These are guys that I think you can punt with, like Patty Mills, Lonnie Walker, right? Should play. Lonnie probably plays about 30. Patty Mills probably plays, over 20. And with, I think you can go to these guys, but maybe, again, Dallas value might be a little bit better. So that's really it there for San Antonio. If LaMarcus Aldridge is out, Jakob Poeltl probably starts, but did only play 20 minutes, was not in foul trouble, so that's a little bit concerning, right? So, little risky there. Let's move on now to Dallas and Chicago. So with Luka Doncic now doubtful, again, this changes the entire slate. Now I'm very confident this game stays close, and yeah, all the Dallas guys now look really, really good. Like Hardaway, Josh Richardson, they're going to have to step it up big time offensively with Luka Doncic off the court in a fantastic matchup. Those two look really good at the top. The centers probably do get a slight boost, so maybe you can take a shot on Powell here in a good matchup. Don't hate it. Dorian Finney-Smith was already a guy I liked because, again, blowout, and then foul trouble last game. He's going to have to do more. I like him for value. I assume it's going to be one of these guards, Burke or Brunson. In last year, it was Brunson that started for Luka. If he does, in fact, start for Luka, obviously he looks like one of the best value plays in the slate. Do like Trey Burke, too. These two are going to have to step it up big time with no Luka Doncic. So they look like really, really good value plays. As far as the other value, I don't think we have to do it. Like James Johnson might get some more run. I guess you can throw him in there. Maybe there's an outside chance like they start him, but I don't think they would. I think minutes do go up for him, but how much is the question? So really, You have Brunson, you have Burke, you have James Johnson, Finney-Smith, Powell, Richardson, Hardaway. This is a team I want exposure to with no Luka Doncic in a fantastic, fantastic matchup. On the opposite side, now I feel a lot better here with Chicago because this game, the Chicago is a terrible team, but this game with no Luka should stay close. Levine and Kobe White are like a good amount at the top. Both these guys can play mid-30s minutes in a competitive game. Like both their upsides, I do like Otto Porter too with no Lauri Markkanen. He should play about 30 minutes. So those three at the top look pretty solid. Carter Jr. is fine, but for me, I'd rather get to the guards or Otto. Value here is still viable. Thad Young, I think, plays mid-20s minutes off the bench. I think he's an interesting value play if you need it. And then like Gafford, Valentine, Temple, Patrick and Patrick Williams. These guys are in play as well for value. Should get some decent run with those guys off the bench. Let's move on to the Clippers and the Suns. So Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George look pretty good at the top in a good matchup here. Kawhi had 62 last game. Paul George had 50 plus. Paul George had 50 plus in back-to-back games. Did have 6 steals, again, more of an outlier. But those two at the top look pretty solid. Ibaka, Zubac, don't think we have to go there on the slate with them splitting the minutes. Lou Williams, I kind of like as a contrarian GPP play. Price is down. Bad shooting day last time, but previous 2 games, 31 and 26 in blowouts. Would have played more in these 2 games. So, yeah, Lou actually Lou does intrigue me here for GPPs because he does have that upside. I think Pat Beverly is actually an okay cash play. Should play mid-20s minutes. Again, decent matchup here. So Beverly's a fine punt, but that's really it for me on the Clippers side. On the Suns side, Booker, secondary play for me at that price. Ayton and Paul, I think, look decent, but not priorities in the slate. With the Dallas news opening up, right? This is definitely setting up for more of the stars and scrubs build. The wings, they have too many with Bridges, Crowder, Cam Johnson, Sarge. There's too many wings for me to go there on a 7-game slate. So Suns, not a team I like a lot. Let's move on to Portland Golden State. This game blew out last time, but this is a really good matchup for both teams, to be honest. Lillard, CJ, Nurkic, I think all 3 look pretty solid. Lillard and CJ had big games last time. Nurkic was on pace to crush and then got in some foul trouble. So like all 3 of the Portland guys at the top, I think you can definitely get to any of those guys. With Gary Trent now coming back, that hurts Rocco. That hurts Jones Jr. a bit. So they have like 4 wings here in Rocco, Jones Jr., Trent Jr., Carmelo. I think these guys are all fine plays if you land on them. Would I prioritize any of these guys? No. If they're like a last piece in this offense, though, I think it's decent. Again, good matchup. All these guys should probably play over 20-plus minutes, that being Melo, Trent, Jones Jr., and Rocco. So they're all fine. Cantor's usually a guy I like punting with, but that last game they went more small ball. Golden State did, and Portland matched it. So Cantor only played 11 minutes. That worries me with him. If price up, I'm going to pass. Again, Giles got some run, but I think that was more because of the blowout. So that's really it there for Portland. Let's finish up with Golden State. Golden State, Steph Curry at the top, I like a lot. If they're going to keep this game close, it's Steph, right? This team is just so bad that Steph is like the guy that's relying heavily, has a lot of upside in a good matchup here. So I like Steph Curry quite a bit. Again, with all the value opening up, he looks a lot better now. Wiggins, Oubre, again, you guys know the rule with me. That's my rule. I don't play Wiggins. Not saying you guys can't play Wiggins. He's had some decent games. All I'm saying is he will let you down more than he'll come through for you. So at almost 7K, I'm not going to go there. If you land on him, fine. But again, he has a pretty low floor. Oubre can't hit the broad side of a barn. He's literally like shooting 5% or something from 3. Just an absolutely crazy stat. Will that continue? Probably not. But on this slate, I don't think we have to do it. It's definitely setting up for the stars and scrubs. Draymond, limited again. I'll pass. Wiseman had a couple good games because there were blowouts early in the season. Recently, has not been doing great, so I'll pass there. And they just use too many guys off the bench for me to get to these guys in the main slate. So that's it for Golden State Portland. That's it for my breakdown. Let's get some questions, guys. I know that was kind of fast, but I'm just running kind of low on time with there being NFL, NBA. So let's get to some questions. Real quick, though, I'll ask if you guys enjoy this content to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me refresh this one more time, and then we can get to some questions. Okay, so we're pretty up to date here. Let's get to some questions. Jamal Murray, Mike Conley, or Mitchell and Cash? Jamal Murray has the most upside, but again, I'm worried about the blowout there. So if you're shooting for the upside, it's Murray, but in cash games, I'd probably go Mitchell there. Jay Rich, Thad Young, or Hardaway, and Dozier. Dozier, how many minutes did Dozier play? I didn't talk about him. Where's PJ Dozier? I'm guessing he played a little bit more with no. Yeah, he did play 23 minutes with no Michael Porter Jr. I think it's an interesting GPP play. Dozier, that is. Definitely not a priority for me, though. I think the upside is higher in Hardaway compared to Jay Rich, but for now, I'll go the first option. Burke, Brunson will split minutes. Hardaway, Finney-Smith. Yeah, I mean, again, Dallas is the team you got to like. Who are you looking at center? I think there's a couple different options. Jokic, if you think this game stays competitive, looks really good at the top. I think Gobert is a safe play at 7-2. Should play mid-30s minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. I like Bryant and Nurkic in the mid-range. And then value centers, there's not a lot I like for value. Maybe Dwight Powell with no Luka might have to do a little bit more offensively. But yeah, that's really it for center for me at least. Guys, we're at 350 viewers, 40 likes. Can we get to 100 before the end of the video or end of the live stream? I'll stay on for another 10 minutes, and then I got to rearrange some stuff for my lineup before I go live for Patreon. I'm leaning towards Bryant and Gobert for cash. I think that's pretty safe. I like those two. I like Nurkic as well. Me for centers, Gobert, Ayton, or Bryant. Yeah, I think that's fine. Westbrook, Nurkic, or Lillard and Gobert. The first option for me. Center sucks today. Help. Yeah, I think so. Jokic at the top. The safer options for center are Gobert, or Thomas Bryant, or Yusuf Nurkic. Can you rank the Dallas value? It depends on the starting lineup. So hard to say at the moment. But yeah, Hardaway, Josh Richardson at the top, obviously. Finney Smith looks good, and those two guards. I think you can take a shot on James Johnson, too. Dwight Powell, more interesting. Not loving the 6,600 tag on Bryant. It's fine. It's not overpriced, not underpriced, but this game should be played at a fast pace. I think he's a decent play, not a priority, though. How many Mavs can I play in a GPP? Depends. I think you should play at least 2. I think anywhere from like 2 to 4 is probably the sweet spot. Maybe you can get to 5, but yeah, Mavs are a team obviously you want exposure to. Thad Young or Bojan? Thad Young, well, if price doesn't matter, Bojan, right? He'll be out there for more minutes, but Thad Young I think is still a decent value play. Barton or Joe Harris? For me, it's Will Barton, even though he really struggled the last game. Minutes should be there in a good matchup. Patty Mills in play, he is, but you got to ask yourself, is he a priority on the slate with the Dallas value now, right? So Gorgie Jang, game blows out easy. You can take a shot there, very contrarian though. Favorite shooting guard? Depends. Like, what, are you looking at the top or the bottom? Shooting guard, at the top, I think I like those Chicago guards now, like Levine and Kobe White. D'Lo and GPPs, again, Paul George has been doing really well. As far as like value guys, right, we have Lonnie or Patty Mills, and then those Dallas guards. Doncic out, he's doubtful. Opinions on Jang, back-to-back 30 minutes of decent. You can take a shot there, you can. Kuzma or O'Neal, for me it's Kuzma. Lillard, a low range. I don't think Lillard's going to be super popular. Like him as a GPP play. Utility, 5,100 and under. 5,100 and under for utility, let's see. I would say Josh Richardson now with the Luka Doncic news out. Do you like Damian Lillard? I do. I like him as GPP. Like Brunson or Burke, whoever starts, I assume it's going to be Brunson though. Horton Tucker tonight, more viable, but again, you got to ask yourself, is he a must with all this Dallas value opening up, right? So yes, he's an interesting contrarian GPP play, not a priority though. Again, like him for GPPs. Nurkic or Thomas Bryant, that's a close one. I think Thomas Bryant plays more minutes. I'll go Nurkic because he was on pace to smash that last game and got in foul trouble. So that is a close one. That is. I like them both in that price range. DeRozan or Levine, also close. DeRozan's been smashing recently. The matchup not necessarily the best. I'm more confident the Chicago game stays close or competitive now. So I'm Michael Levine. Thoughts on Kuzma? I think Kuzma is a decent play in the mid range, but assuming LeBron plays is not a priority for me. I have 4 Dallas players. I think that's about right. Will Barton, more viable. Again, viable because MPJ is out. Richardson or Hardaway straight up. For upside, it's definitely Hardaway. Booker viable. Secondary play for me. Allen or Jordan? I would rather play Allen, but I don't think we have to on the slate. Lonnie or Thad Young for GPPs? Probably Lonnie. I think he plays over 30 minutes with no Derek White. Any Grayson or Memphis cheap plays? I think you can still look to Bane and Conchar and GPPs. If you think the game blows out, those guys should get extended a bit. No, I think 4 is fine. Favorite spend up at shooting guard? It's probably one of those. So it depends how you're playing it, but like Paul George looks pretty good at the top. CJ's been playing really well, and then those Chicago guards with Luka out, I'm pretty confident this game stays close. Hardaway or Kobe White? I think the upside's a little higher now in Hardaway with no Luka Doncic. Richardson or Kuzma? I think I go Richardson there. Allen or again, so I would go Jarrett Allen. I don't think we have to go either though. Naz Reid viable. I'm just too worried about the foul trouble concerns against Jokic. Richardson or Kuzma? Richardson for me now with no Luka. Kobe White with Satoransky and Archie Diacono with COVID. Wait, what? I don't know what that means. KD or AD? Kevin Durant. He doesn't like Reed because, yeah, exactly. Naz Reid has already been, basically every single game he's started so far has been in foul trouble, and now he's going up against Jokic. I mean, if I knew he was going to stay out of foul trouble and play 30 minutes, I would play Naz Reid. But there's probably about a 75% chance he gets in foul trouble, so I'm not going to go there. Thoughts on Lillard, Hardaway, DFS, Durant, Gobert, Burke, Young? Yes, I think that's good. Vanderbilt from Minnesota. Do we have to do that, though? You got to ask yourself, do you have to go there? Like, he will play in the blowout. He's 3'6". He's a decent point per minute guy. Only played 12 minutes that last game in a blowout. So I think that's getting a little bit too cute. Unless you're like 150 maxing a tournament and maybe throw him in one. KD or Kyrie? For me, it's KD. Is AD out? Why are people asking about Kuzma? No, Kuzma is starting for KCP. KCP is out. Kuzma is starting. So Kuzma's more viable. I think he's a fine play. Paul George or Levine? Paul George if you have the salary. But again, I like those Chicago guards. I'm more confident this game stays close. Mavs, Bulls. Yes, I like that. Jay Rich, one of the better plays in the slate with no Luka. Satoransky, oh yeah, those two have COVID. Yeah, I mean Chicago's really thin. Satoransky has COVID, Archie Nakano has COVID, and then Lauri Markkanen's out. They're thin, so guards should play big minutes. Brunson or Burke, prefer whoever starts. I assume it's going to be Brunson. Yeah, exactly. More minutes for Kobe White. I like the Chicago guards. Best small forward, 5,800 and under. 5,800 and under for small forward. I think Kuzma. I would say Kuzma or Barton. I know Barton played terribly last game. One of those two, if you don't over Josh Richardson, though, like Josh Richardson would be the priority for me. Aldridge out. Okay, Aldridge out. Again, not a huge deal. I think Jakob Poeltl probably plays a couple extra minutes, but did only play 20 and not in foul trouble the last game, which does worry me. Otto or Kobe, that's a close one. That's basically coin flip for me. I think Kobe plays some more minutes, so maybe give that to Kobe, but I do like them both now. CJ, Russell, or Levine? I'll go Levine. Favorite power forward play? Power forward. I like Kevin Durant at the top for sure. So Kevin Durant at the top, Otto in the mid-range, and value Dorian Finney-Smith. Any value with Marcus out? Doesn't do a ton, right? Poeltl played, so Poeltl and Eubanks basically split it. You can go back to Poeltl, but my issue is that last game he played 20 minutes and was not in foul trouble. So like you can go back there. Eubanks is going to be the backup. I don't know if we have to on the slate. I don't know if we have to go there. Durant or Irving? For me, it's Durant. Cantor good for cash? No, don't play Cantor and cash. Yeah, KD. Easy DeRozan. Yeah, DeRozan, I mean, with no Aldridge, DeRozan's been really solid this year. He's been really solid except for the one night where he was like really chalky against the Pelicans. But yeah, DeRozan, I do like. He's probably my favorite Spur. Favorite 6K forward, let's see. 6K and forward. So don't like Oubre, don't really like Bojan, not playing Draymond, don't like Bridges, don't like Joe Harris. I would say probably Kuzma with starting. Kuzma or Barton, or you pay down for Josh Richardson, who, again, I like a lot with no Luka. Have to upgrade one of the four, Burke, DFS, Richardson, Hardaway, which to replace? I mean, that's a really tough question. I would say Trey Burke if he doesn't start. But, yeah. Keldon Johnson is a stud. He's been playing well. He has. I do like Keldon Johnson. 6'1", though. Like, okay, so for me, you have 6'1", Keldon Johnson, and 7'5", DeRozan. Yes, Keldon's been, has had a couple upside games. For me, I'd rather have DeRozan. I know he had the one bad game against the Pelicans, but other than that, he's been 40+. So, yes, Keldon's not out of play, but I would just rather play DeRozan. Any good value? There's not a ton of value centers I like. No. I'm going with, yeah, I mean, I like that stack for sure. KD Russ only doesn't pay enough for. Okay. Gobert or Ayton. So, that's a close one. I'll go Gobert. Can we just have good players today? JaMychal Green, I don't think we have to go there. Best utility, 3,500. It's going to be one of those Dallas guards, whoever starts. Hardaway for 5,800 still seems expensive. Not with Luka out. Joe Harris, Tim Hardaway for sure. Yeah, can we just have good players play today? Yeah, Drummond, man, getting benched. Cool. Rocco. So Rocco with Gary Trent Jr. playing is a fine play. If you landed him, that's decent. Not a priority, though. Thomas Bryant or Nurkic. Close, I'll go Nurkic. Lillard or Kyrie. Kyrie for me, but that's also close. You fading Jokic and Cash, you to blow out. I would fade Jokic and Cash, yes. For GPPs, I love his upside in that matchup. Love his upside. But I'm a little bit worried about that game. Hardaway, Talon Horton Tucker if LeBron is out. Yeah. Do we have that news yet? We don't. Okay, I'll stand for another minute, guys, and I got to get out here because I got to mess with my lineup personally. with that Dallas news, I gotta switch some things up. Obviously, for Mavs, no, I think for Mavs is fine for cash. Really, like that's a team you want to load up with no Luka. All the usage, Hardaway is great. Yeah, again, Dallas is a team you want exposure to for sure. Alrighty, Gobert and DeMar or Jokic and Gay. I think the safer option is the first one. Curry, Lillard, or Kyrie. I'll go Curry. Again, close. Aldridge out. Yeah, doesn't do a ton on this slate for me. All right, guys, one more question, then I got to get out of here. Again, sorry for the shorter stream, but hope you guys can understand with NFL, NBA going on. DK, we got Patriot. Yep. It should be posted, Walker. Should be posted. Let me confirm that is. But yes, I'll be going live in under 10 minutes there. Let's see. Post. Let me just make sure it's there. Yep, it's there. Okay. DFS or Thad? I'd rather have DFS close. So Westbrook with the salary. Yes, I like Westbrook a lot. It's just, there's some bullet risk there, but I think that game has a better chance of staying close than some others. So, yes, I like Westbrook. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for coming to check out the stream. I know it was quicker. Apologize for that, but hope got all the information in there. KD, Russ, Levine as a core. I think that's good. Good luck tonight, guys. Have a great night. Let's pray for no BS, no foul trouble injuries, or just resting players, please. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you